Bonjour et bienvenue. Hello and welcome. Je m'appelle Janine Denis-Gonzalez. Je suis la gestionnaire de projets et partenariats au Bureau international de l'Université d'Ottawa. Et j'ai le plaisir de vous accueillir aujourd'hui à cette mini-conférence, la 4e mini-conférence, dédiée cette fois à la mobilité du personnel et présentée par l'attestation uOGlobal. À l'occasion de la Semaine de l'éducation internationale, nous avons invité des conférenciers invités de la communauté universitaire à nous partager leur histoire en lien avec l'éducation internationale. Throughout the week, we have been hearing from uOttawa professors, staff, and students about the impact of international education and the activities that support intercultural and international learning. Today, we are delighted to have two uOttawa support staff members discuss their respective experiences with international staff mobility. So we have Jenna Rodriguez, who is now the professional development specialist at the Co-op office, and Evan Lavoie, manager of the second language intensive programs at the Official Languages and Bilingualism Institute, OLBI. Welcome, Jenna and Evan. Thank you for coming. Donc, Jenna, tu as effectué une mobilité du personnel à l'Université de Porto, au Portugal. Pourrais-tu nous parler de ton expérience? Par exemple, tes motivations en faisant demande, à quoi tu t'attendais, ton expérience en général et l'impact sur ta carrière ou ton travail à l'Université d'Ottawa?
Oui, bien sûr. So, good morning, everyone. Bonjour. Je voulais remercier Janine et Sylvie pour l'invitation d'être ici aujourd'hui. Comme Janine a expliqué, je m'appelle Jenna Rodriguez et je suis une spécialiste de développement professionnel à Co-op et carrière. Cette année, j'ai eu l'occasion de participer à une expérience en mobilité à l'Université de Porto. Ce qui m'a motivée à postuler, c'était l'intérêt de continuer à travailler avec les étudiants internationaux et de leur fournir une excellente expérience étudiante. Les activités que j'ai réalisées pendant la mobilité étaient les suivantes. J'ai passé une semaine avec le Bureau international à l'Université de Porto. J'ai eu l'occasion d'interagir avec leurs professionnels incroyables. Leurs procédures concernant les étudiants internationaux m'ont été expliquées en détail. J'ai eu l'occasion de rencontrer plusieurs acteurs clés, comme par exemple la directrice du Bureau international à l'Université de Porto et aussi les membres d'équipe des programmes de langue intensifs. Mais j'ai aussi fait vraiment des choses fun. Alors, j'ai visité la magnifique librairie Lelu qui a inspiré la création de Harry Potter. Et je dois mentionner que le match de football Porto contre Boavista avec 50 000 spectateurs était vraiment une expérience inoubliable. Avant de partir, l'Université de Porto m'a envoyé un calendrier détaillé avec toutes les activités pour la semaine. Ce que je ne savais pas, c'était que ce qui m'attendait dépasserait toutes mes attentes. Quand j'ai arrivé, j'ai fini pour avoir 2 fois plus de nombre de réunions que celles qui étaient initialement prévues. Cela signifie que j'ai eu plus de possibilités de réseautage. J'ai pu voir comment l'Université de Porto soutient leurs étudiants internationaux en ce qui concerne les obstacles qu'ils rencontrent, comme par exemple la barrière linguistique. L'Université de Porto offre des cours de langue seconde à leurs étudiants internationaux en échange. J'ai pu voir comment la formation linguistique peut avoir un effet positif à l'expérience des étudiants internationaux. À ce moment-là, j'étais dans mon dernier emploi à l'université, qui était de coordonnatrice des opérations des programmes de langue seconde avec Evan ici. Alors, cela était vraiment lié à cette position. Dans mon emploi actuel, comme spécialiste de développement professionnel à Coop, je peux dire que cette expérience de mobilité m'a certainement aidée. Lorsque je travaille sur un projet spécial d'appui aux étudiants internationaux tout au long de leur programme de Coop, nos étudiants font face à beaucoup de défis particuliers, comme par exemple les défis concernant les barrières linguistiques, mais aussi culturelles. Ayant eu la chance de discuter de ce type de défis avec mes collègues à l'Université de Porto, j'ai certainement augmenté ma perspective sur l'appui que les étudiants ont besoin. À mon avis, la mobilité de personnel enrichit grandement notre approche pour trouver des solutions pour améliorer l'expérience des étudiants. J'aimerais voir plus de membres du personnel d'essayer la mobilité nationale et internationale. Qui sait, peut-être vous reviendra avec plein d'idées, plus de motivation et aussi d'inspiration. Je voulais terminer avec un gros merci à l'Université de Ottawa e aussi à Université de Porto. Agradeço a todos os membros da Universidade do Porto que me acolheram com tanto entusiasmo. Foi de facto uma semana enriquecedora no que concerne à troca de informação. Merci à tous. Thank you.
Merci, Jenna. Merci. Okay, so Evan, you participated in an International Staff Week at Middle East Technical University, or METÜ, in Turkey. Could you speak to us a little bit about your experience, so why you applied, what you expected, and how your experience actually was?
Thanks, Janine. Yes, I participated in the Middle East Technical University International Staff Week. It was hosted by the International Collaborations Office at METÜ. There were 80 colleagues from over 30 countries. So what were my motivations for applying? There were many. I wanted to learn about how other universities approach internationalization, how they integrate their international students. I wanted to develop a network and potential collaborations. I run the second language intensive programs at the University of Ottawa, so any networking and collaborations I can establish are helpful. I wanted to learn more about mobility exchanges. We had hosted a number of professors from METÜ with Jenna back in about months prior to my departure. I wanted to learn about a key source country to some of our programs at OLBI. Our English intensive program and our French intensive program receives students from Turkey quite regularly, so learning about that country would help. And I wanted to shake things up a bit. I like putting myself outside of my comfort zone, and I thought, you know, the learning opportunities that this would provide would certainly help. I love the thrill of being in a foreign country. So just the ideas and the creativity. So those were my motivations for applying. Now, what were my expectations before leaving? I had a fairly open mind. I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought it would be very well organized. The program looked very detailed, but I was blown away at how well METÜ took care of us. The amount of collaboration I was able to do, the number of people I was able to meet, it surpassed my expectations completely. So it was an experience I'll have with me for the rest of my life. What did I get out of it? Quite a few things. So in terms of the job I do at OLBI at the University of Ottawa, there were some specific benefits for sure. I think I have a better idea now of big picture trends in students' mobility, and that's very important for my work with international students. I also have, I think, a better sense of potential areas for innovation in language teaching. I spent a little bit of time at the School of Foreign Languages, and I met with the director there, and they as well the program there is very high stakes, like our English intensive program. So It was a really good collaboration, and I learned from that discussion for sure. I learned a lot about the cultures and the education systems and the societies of various countries with all the people I was able to collaborate with. The networking was phenomenal. And I learned how our international colleagues work within their universities. And they do very similar work. And well, a lot of the people I met were from international offices, but just the way they're structured, and they face a lot of the similar challenges that we face. So those were some specific benefits, but I think if there were two general benefits, I would say that one, it would be a sense of opportunity. This is a very big world, and there's a lot going on out there, and there's a lot of competence, a lot of knowledge, and it's a big world, and it's a small Canada. So we need to put ourselves out there. I need to put myself out there. I need to interact. I need to get involved. I need to be part of that conversation because it's happening and there's a lot going on. So a sense of opportunity would be one of my key takeaways. My second takeaway, I think, would be a sense of humility. I arrived in Ankara 2 days prior to the start of the workshop, and there was no English there. And so I had to navigate. One of the first things I had to do was my phone charger did not work in the socket, so I had to get a new adapter. And so how do I do that when I walk into a store and there's no English whatsoever? So having to navigate that was very, very difficult. So I was really, and I was only there for 12 days. If I were to live there, the first thing I would do is learn the language. And I know I would be a fish out of water. And using Turkish as a second language would be very, very difficult for me in many ways. And so I really think we need to honor our international students, what they do to come here. I mean, learning a second language is difficult enough, but learning a language for academic purposes to integrate into a university is nothing short of heroic. And so when I'm with international students, I really have that sense that, these people are not deficient. They don't use English as a first language, of course, and they have to navigate our culture, but they come with a skill set from a very sophisticated culture with a very sophisticated language, and they have a lot of skills, and so they need to be honored. And so that was one of my big takeaways.
Great. Thank you both so much. I really appreciated hearing about your experiences. Nous allons maintenant ouvrir la période de questions. Please use the microphone available. It's my microphone, never mind, so I will share it with you. And feel free to ask questions in the language that you prefer. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions? Oui.
All right, so thank you very much. I guess I have a question for both of you that I'm just kind of curious about. If I'm not mistaken, these kinds of staff mobility opportunities come up from time to time. I was wondering, and perhaps you did touch on this, but was there a specific reason, Evan, that you chose Turkey and Metu? Was it the timing, or was it something about Turkey that was particularly of interest to you? And same with Jenna, I know your heritage may have drawn you to Portugal, but was there some reason for that specifically? I'm just kind of curious if you had thought about the destination, or whether it was just the general experience that was the attractive motivator.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Kyle. So yes, definitely Portugal was because of the heritage, and I had lived there before, but I hadn't ever worked in a university, especially with university international students. So for me, the curiosity to see what type of support exists in Portugal was really what led me to apply to Portugal. And I wanted to be able to compare, hey, what they do over there. What I came back with was, you know what, the University of Ottawa offers a great deal of services to our students. This was an exchange of information, the mobility. It's not just going to the country and learning about what they do there. They're also extremely curious to know how we work here at the University of Ottawa. So they were fascinated by the services that we offer here. So I find that University of Ottawa, I'm very grateful to be working here, and our students are lucky to study here. That's how I view it. However, they do work in a different way, and there are things that we can learn from them as well. So that was my main motivation of applying to Portugal, was because I already knew the country, but now I wanted to know more. How do they work with international students?
Well, yeah, of course, we all know that Turkey is a rich country with a rich history, and we do receive a lot of students from Turkey, so I was interested in Turkey, but I'll pretty much go anywhere. I mean, that's where I'm, so, yeah.
So it sounds like, Jenna, I like what you touched upon was kind of, a staff mobility is for your own learning, but it's also a great opportunity to kind of position the University of Ottawa as a leader in different areas as well, and showcase kind of, celebrate our successes and what we do, and, maybe help our partners learn from us. Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you both. Are there any other questions? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions? Oui.
Thank you so much for your contributions. You both clearly demonstrated how this experience, staff mobility, has been helpful to your the professional side of your life, your professional development. And you did allude to some aspects of your personal development. And I'd be interested to hear a bit more about that. We know that going abroad can be much more destabilizing for students coming here as an international students, or going abroad as an exchange student for University of Ottawa students, for example. It gets you out of your comfort zone. So I was wondering if you could talk a bit more about how you lived that when you were on your staff mobility, and what coping mechanisms you could give to students or future staff mobility participants to prepare mentally to that experience, if that's something they're concerned about.
Do you want to go? Yeah. So for staff, I would like to mention that even though I was going to a country that I already knew, Canada is still my home country, so I was at a university and also at an international office, so something that I'm familiar with here at the University of Ottawa. But everywhere that you go, people work differently, so that's something that we have to be able to adapt to. So, for example, here where everything is we're punctual and so on, so if you're going to a meeting, it could happen that it's for 8 o'clock, but really, culturally, it'll start at 8:30 or at 8:15. It's just being able to adapt to the different ways of working, and I think that's the most important, and prepare for it as well. So even though it was a country that I was familiar with, I did do a lot of background work. So I researched the university, I researched all the programs that they had, the services that they offer. So when I went over to Portugal, I was able to also explain and compare with what we offer here. That's what I would mention to staff members.
Being there for a short time, 12 days, is relatively easy compared to an extensive period. Of course, one needs to be able to tolerate ambiguity and to expect it, and that's not always easy. One needs also to be self-aware and to notice the reactions you're having when you're interacting with something, and when there's a cultural bump in particular, like if someone walks in front of you when you're waiting in line, for example. In some cultures, that's more acceptable. That happened in Turkey to me quite a few times. I would just wait in line and someone would step in front of me. And so I would notice that there was irritation, but then if you're aware of it and you notice it and you recognize it for what it is, that's very, very important. So really being self-aware, understanding why you're going there, is very, very important. And as Jenna said, researching the country, knowing about the country, learning the language, and, honoring, respecting those differences are all very important features, I think.
Thank you both. I just wanted to mention the Government of Canada actually has a really great resource where you can see kind of business practices in different countries. So especially in a working context, there's maybe obvious cultural differences that you can prepare for yourself, but it might also be helpful to do some, a little bit more extensive research so that you can integrate a little bit smoother professionally as well. Are there any other questions? I have a question to ask myself, actually. So I'm curious to learn about, both of you went for a week or so, a little bit more. What kind of impact did this have on your department? How were you able to, kind of convince your colleagues or your supervisors to get on board? Like, what did that entail for you practically here for your work? Was it considered part of your job or your own time?
It's a funny question because Evan was my supervisor when I went on the mobility. Evan's very open to new ideas and new projects. So I think this is how I interpret, and you can jump in at any time if you like. He saw this as a learning opportunity. So going to a different country, we work almost solely with international students. So going to another country and seeing how they work with their international students and what type of support they give them, I think that my supervisor just saw it as a great learning opportunity. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was considered work.
And fortunately, my supervisor saw it as a good learning opportunity as well. I mean, it seemed like a no-brainer. We work with international students, so I had no trouble getting approval to do this. So it's so connected to what we do that, we want our employees going abroad and continuing to develop professionally.
Great. And hopefully many other departments will follow. Oui. Oh, pardon.
Janine, toi qui as eu beaucoup d'expérience à placer du personnel de soutien à l'étranger dans la dernière année, est-ce que tu nous parlerais d'expériences de d'autres pour qui la connexion avec leur travail n'est pas aussi évidente? Tu connais sûrement leurs histoires, peut-être nous dire un peu comment eux ont réussi à convaincre leurs superviseurs.
Merci Sylvie. Donc oui, j'allais mentionner que je suis responsable du programme de mobilité du personnel à l'Université d'Ottawa. Donc, j'ai eu le plaisir de soutenir Jenna, Evan et d'autres avec leur mobilité du personnel. Donc oui, c'est évident que peut-être c'est plus facile pour des employés qui travaillent directement avec des étudiants internationaux de demander l'approbation de leur superviseur, de faire demande, de créer un plan de mobilité. Mais par exemple, on a eu des employés qui ne travaillent pas directement avec des étudiants, mais qui peuvent bénéficier de ce genre de mobilité. Donc, par exemple, on a eu une collègue dans la faculté des sciences de la santé. Je ne me souviens pas exactement de son titre, mais elle est responsable d'un laboratoire d'enseignement. Donc, pour elle, elle a effectué une mobilité à la Norwegian School of Sport Sciences en Norvège. Donc, pour elle, c'était vraiment une opportunité de partager des meilleures pratiques, de renforcer des liens avec un partenaire stratégique. On a des liens très forts avec cette institution. Elle a rencontré des homologues. Elle a vraiment apporté des idées pour améliorer son travail ici à l'Université d'Ottawa. Donc, à mon avis, tout le monde peut bénéficier de ce genre de mobilité. Ce n'est pas juste les employés qui travaillent directement avec des étudiants internationaux. Et peut-être qu'une mobilité peut changer votre plan professionnel. Peut-être que ça va aussi changer la vie. Donc, je recommande fortement à tout le monde de faire demande. Je voulais juste ajouter aussi que donc, les mobilités du personnel en général, pour l'instant, sont financées par des fonds européens qui s'appellent Erasmus+. Donc, Jana et Evan ont bénéficié de ce fonds. Donc, ça veut dire que leur département n'était pas du tout impliqué financièrement dans leur mobilité. Donc, ça veut dire que leurs vols étaient financés, ils ont reçu des stipends par jour aussi. Donc, on a plusieurs possibilités en ce moment qui sont disponibles sur notre site web. Donc, vous pouvez accéder aux appels ouverts en ce moment à internationale.uottawa.ca /Erasmus+, le signe plus. Donc oui, j'espère que ça répond à ta question. Le fonds. Ah oui, et on a également un fonds pour la mobilité du personnel. Donc, pour l'instant, comme je disais, la plupart de nos mobilités du personnel sont financées par Erasmus+, mais ces fonds sont juste disponibles avec certains partenaires. Donc, on voulait aussi diversifier les destinations pour nos employés. Donc, on a créé un fonds. Donc, je vous invite à faire un don vous-même. C'est bientôt c'est quoi le mardi je donne? Giving Tuesday. Donc, je vous invite à faire un don à ce fonds. Plus d'informations, c'est disponible sur notre site web aussi. Donc oui, le but, c'est vraiment d'offrir cette possibilité à nos employés d'effectuer une mobilité, peut-être dans une destination autre que l'Europe. Oui. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions? Non? OK. Donc, je pense que c'est tout ce que je voulais dire. Ah oui, et si vous avez des questions à propos de la mobilité du personnel, vous pouvez communiquer avec nous à uointl@uottawa.ca. Donc, c'est maintenant l'heure de clore cette avant-dernière mini-conférence. Donc, il reste une session demain à propos de l'attestation uOGlobal. Donc, je vous recommande d'y assister en personne ou de nous suivre live sur Facebook. Pour plus de détails, l'horaire est disponible sur la porte à l'entrée et aussi sur notre site web. We would like to thank you all, especially our programming team, the marketing and communications team at Student Life, for all of your support in organizing these events this week. The event has been recorded, so feel free to share it with your colleagues, and if they have any questions, they can contact us. Donc, merci de votre présence aujourd'hui. Thank you all. Thank you.